obviously heading back to work and school after the holiday weekend. Let's get you outside, showing you some of that rain that is now moving from southwest to north and east. And there are some heavier pockets. We've noted some rumbles of thunder, although we haven't had many over the last hour or so around the metro area, but definitely socked in with the rain. And that's pretty much central Indiana wide, too. You can see some heavier pockets across the state line over toward Danville when you go up I-74, basically between Champaign and Danville, and then getting ready to cross over into western Indiana. We're going to be locked in with this here for a little while. Much of the morning, I think, is going to be pretty wet. We've already got some pretty hefty numbers here. Over an inch in Evansville, just shy of 3/4 of an inch in Bedford. Indy at 0.6. Terre Haute just under a half an inch. Muncie, about a third of an inch so far this morning. And I think we're going to tack on some more. We already have some flood watches in place along the Ohio River. That's going to go until 10 o'clock this morning. We also have some fog advisories that continue for northeastern Indiana, where your visibility remains close to zero up around Fort Wayne and South Bend, and even up in the region and northwestern portions of the state. So there's a host of issues going on here for this morning, just kind of depending on your location. Very wet here in the metro, though. In the east side, Carmel, downtown, Westfield, all very soggy. Same thing in Bedford, Martinsville, also looking wet this morning. We're also very mild for most. Where you have the fog, you're on the northern end of that warm front that we were kind of tapping into yesterday. So you're only in the mid-40s up around South Bend and Fort Wayne. Everybody else flirting with 60 degrees here so far this morning. You have to remember, it is January 3rd. We had 57 yesterday. It's 20 degrees above average. We're going to do better than that today. That's going to be kind of a side headline, though. We're going to have to get through this rain, which it is going to be a soggy one. Futurecast kicking things off now through around 8, 9 o'clock this morning. I think we saw some pretty steady rain, so therefore your morning drive, if you're up and at 'em early here, is going to be wet. No doubt about that. I think you could have some heavy downpours, too. That will then push to the east. We break this up a little bit. By around lunchtime, you see the scattered showers down to the south. I do think there will be some opportunities during the afternoon that will have some isolated to scattered showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder, but few and far between. Certainly not as widespread as what we're experiencing now and even through late tonight. Some rain chances possible, but spotty, and probably the better chances overnight are probably going to stay well to our south, southern portions of the state is where you deal with that. There is a risk that we could have a few stronger storms, maybe some hailstones. There's enough spin in the atmosphere. I wouldn't rule out an isolated tornado warning here. Again, mainly west, southwest of Indianapolis along the Ohio River, so we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, you're talking record temperatures here on the way. Lower 60s at 9 o'clock and noon. I think we're into the upper 60s by 4 or 5 o'clock. The record today is 65. That was back in 1950. I think that is very much in reach. We're going to go the high of 68, so that would be a record breaker here for the day today. We will watch that. Now, cooler air is coming in the wake of this rainmaker here. We're likely going to hit our high for Wednesday just after midnight, probably in the low 60s, and then our numbers just kind of fall back through the day. Still not awful, but much cooler, obviously, mid-40s on the way later on in the afternoon. And we're just going to continue the tumble here. From 68 today to 51 tomorrow to 38 Thursday, 37 Friday, so kind of back to reality, and lower 40s as we start rolling into this upcoming weekend. I do think there's some precip chances as we start going through the weekend here as we look at the 8-day forecast. Flurries possible on Thursday, maybe probably better chances up north, 38. 37 on Friday, kind of a rain, snow possibility Saturday, 42. 38 on Sunday, and then upper 30s and lower 40s, right around average for Monday and Tuesday of next week.
A bit of a weather